At least 10 people have died this weekend after a powerful storm battered the much of the southeast, bringing strong winds, heavy rains, and devastating flooding. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear confirmed that 9 people were killed after floodwaters started sweeping across the state. Emergency responders also conducted more than 1,000 rescues, Beshear said. "I am sad to share some more tough news tonight, Kentucky. We just confirmed another weather-related death out of Pike County, bringing our total loss to 9 people," Beshear said on X. Beshear initially reported that at least 8 people had died during a news briefing Sunday afternoon, noting that he believed the number of the deaths would grow. Another death was also reported in Georgia early Sunday. One person was killed in Atlanta after an uprooted tree fell on a home, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution reported. Almost 100 million Americans were under weather alerts, watches, and warnings Sunday as a wall of bitter cold air swept across much of the nation's northern tier while wild storms prompted water rescues and tornado warnings across the South. At least 700,000 homes and businesses were without power by Sunday night from New York to Alabama due to heavy rains and high winds, according to Power Outage US. Flooding has inundated a swath of southern states over the past 48 hours after more than 6 inches of rain fell in some areas. In Kentucky, the National Weather Service said the Louisville area had been slammed with more than 6 inches of rain, resulting in widespread flooding. Louisville Metro Police said its River Patrol and Swift Water Rescue teams were assisting area fire departments with high water aid. "The rivers are still going to rise," Eric Gibson, director of the Kentucky Division of Emergency Management, said Sunday. "We continue to see that the levels down the Kentucky River, the Green River, still have a ways to go before they hit the crest." Beshear said the White House had approved his request for an emergency disaster declaration for the historic flooding. The Federal Emergency Management Agency also arrived in Kentucky on Sunday and were currently working to respond where needed, Beshear said. "From mudslides in the east to snow in the west, the situation is dangerous," Beshear said. In Virginia, the Richlands Police Department said multiple areas of the town had flooded and urged some residents to evacuate. The Clinch River was beginning to recede Sunday, but flash flooding and earth/rock slides will be a real possibility, police said in a statement. In Tennessee, Macon County Emergency Services said 52 residents of Palace Nursing Home in Red Boiling Springs were evacuated because of rising waters. Meanwhile, the city of Clarksville near the Kentucky border remained on alert Sunday as floodwaters continued to rise from runoffs as fire crews rescued people from flooded homes and streets, the Nashville Tennessean. Waters in Pikeville, Kentucky were receding by Sunday evening, but plenty of work remains in the county that Beshear said was probably hit hardest in state.
No way.
Officials said at least 100 rescues had been reported in the county since about 3 p.m. local time Saturday, and several water tanks were currently dry after their lines were broken during the storm. Mutual aid teams from other parts of the South arrived Sunday to provide assistance throughout East Kentucky, according to officials. North Carolina Emergency Management said crews of 40 to 60 people will be dispatched to the hardest-hit areas. Crews from Ohio and Indiana are also expected to arrive in the coming days, officials said. The city of Hazard in Perry County has seen its worst flooding in 40 years, officials said Sunday. The North Fork Kentucky River crested at 30.5 inches overnight, marking the largest flood in the city since 1984. Hazard Mayor Happy Mobilini said, "The city knew they would be flooded, but not to this extent." The mayor said local fire and police departments have taken part in more than 100 water rescues. The one in 2022, "It was awful, but it only covered part of the county and town," Mobilini told the television station. "This one covers the entire county." Among the deceased are a mother and 7-year-old child, who were found in a submerged vehicle Saturday night in Bonneville, Hart County Coroner Anthony Roberts. Their identities have not been shared publicly at the family's request. Another flood-related death in south-central Kentucky was reported earlier Saturday, sometime before 10 a.m. local time. A man identified by the Hart County Coroner's Office as William Rutledge, 59, was killed in a single-vehicle crash on Interstate 65 near Cave City, Kentucky State Police Trooper Caton Parker said in a statement. A preliminary investigation revealed the pickup truck Rutledge was driving went off the roadway and overturned. Investigators determined the accident to be weather-related. A 73-year-old Manchester man also died as evacuations in Clay County began Saturday. The man was later identified by the Clay County Coroner's Office as Donald Keith Nicholson. Beshear said other confirmed victims of the flooding include 3 people in Pike County, a woman in Washington County, and an unidentified person in Nelson County.
Hello folks, Ralph Davis with the Mountain
In West Virginia, Governor Patrick Morrisey declared a state of emergency in more than a dozen counties and a state of preparedness for the others.
Where it is coming up on that side.
He urged all West Virginians to remain vigilant as severe thunderstorm warnings were rolling across the state Sunday. Some storms were forecast to drive wind gusts of up to 70 miles per hour, minus almost hurricane force.
Back behind that building.
The National Weather Service warned of a flash freeze risk as temperatures drop rapidly after dark, turning wet roads icy. Slow down and watch for black ice. The State Emergency Management Division said in a social media post. Bitter cold air from northern Canada was sweeping down into the plains, Midwest, and Northeast Sunday. This week, the frigid weather is expected to continue and temperatures in some areas could rival the lowest experienced this winter, AccuWeather said. In Detroit, the National Weather Service said wind chill temperatures could reach -9 Monday night. In Chicago, minimum wind chills between 10 below and 25 below zero were possible. High temperatures Tuesday through Thursday in the Windy City won't escape the teens, the Weather Service said. Some East Coast cities were bracing for a similar deep freeze. Almost 100 million people from New York to Florida were under high wind warnings, minus threat to life or property minus and advisories, which pose a significant inconvenience that could lead to a more serious threat. West winds 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts up to 50 miles per hour were forecast for parts of Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York. The next few days also could see a snowstorm causing widespread disruptions from the southern plains to the northeast. AccuWeather Chief Meteorologist Jonathan Porter said there were 2 areas that could see 6 or more inches of snow. One area is in portions of Nebraska, Kansas, and Missouri due to the dry and powdery nature of the snow, Porter said. The other extends from the central Appalachians to coastal areas of the mid-Atlantic, where there will be plenty of Gulf and Atlantic moisture available. Washington, already battered by 2 major snowstorms this season, could see 4 to 8 more inches midweek, forecasters said. Should the storm develop to its full potential, it could deliver the biggest snowfall of the winter for millions of Americans, AccuWeather said. Snow emergencies in a couple Greater Cincinnati counties have been lifted. The Butler County Sheriff's Office said in a news release that it has lifted its snow emergency. As of 5 p.m., motorists are still encouraged to drive with caution. Just a reminder, although the roads are passable, the freezing temperatures could cause them to refreeze, resulting in slick areas, the Sheriff's Office said in the release. The Warren County Sheriff's Office announced on social media at 4 p.m. that it has lifted its snow emergency. Heavy rains Saturday night turned to snow Sunday morning in Greater Cincinnati, dumping several inches across the region. As of Sunday afternoon, the most northern reaches of Greater Cincinnati have received the most snow in the past 24 hours, with Lebanon getting the most at 3.6 inches, according to reports from the National Weather Service in Wilmington. Covedale is the closest place to downtown Cincinnati where snowfall has been recorded thus far, measuring in at 2.1 inches. More snow is possibly still on the way, as the Weather Service says snow showers are likely until midnight. New snow accumulation of less than a half inch is expected. This coincides with a winter weather advisory that is currently in effect for all of southwest Ohio, northern Kentucky, and southeast Indiana until midnight. Forecasters measured 2.46 inches of rain fell between Saturday morning and Sunday morning at the Cincinnati/Northern Kentucky International Airport, locally known as CVG. Flood warnings are in effect for the Great Miami River at Miamitown, the Little Miami River near South Lebanon, Ohio, Brush Creek near West Union, Hocking River at Enterprise, and Eagle Creek near Glencoe. Forecasters warn motorists to turn around, don't drown, when encountering flooded roads. Most flood deaths occur in vehicles. The Ohio River at Cincinnati is not flooding but has risen to over 47 feet from its typical 25-foot level, which the National Weather Service considers high enough for local authorities to begin preparing for flooding. Additional rainfall and snowfall later in the week has forecasters expecting the Ohio River to continue to rise to over 53 feet, which could cause minor flooding in parts of Covington and Bellevue in northern Kentucky, as well as in Cincinnati's California neighborhood and Claremont County. Widespread heavy snow that struck the region has moved off to the east, but scattered snow showers are expected to continue later Sunday afternoon, forecasters said. Below freezing temperatures and wind gusts in the 30 to 40 miles per hour range will remain through the evening, making it more likely that some roadways will be slick and icy if not treated. Duke Energy is reporting at least 4,000 without power, as snow continues to slam the Greater Cincinnati region Sunday morning. Most of the outages are located in the eastern part of Hamilton County, near the areas of Sherwood, Fruit Hill, and Cherry Grove. The estimated time of restoration is 12:30 p.m., according to the Duke Energy outage map. 3 counties have issued snow emergencies. Butler and Warren counties in Ohio and Kenton County in Kentucky issued Level 1 snow emergencies, urging motorists to proceed with caution due to hazardous road conditions. Flood warnings have been widely canceled for much of the area, except some isolated parts of Hamilton County, according to the National Weather Service. Heavy rain overnight prevented crews from pre-treating roads, according to a City of Cincinnati news release. City crews are working 12-hour shifts to clear roads, the release says.